Imagine a world full of life, full of beauty, full of inspiration. Imagine a world of peace and quiet. Dive into the world of hiking, breathtaking sceneries, living alongside wild animals, discovering endless waterfalls, and balancing along steep canyons. Breathe in the calm and amazement of the African jungle. When Nico first heard about the mountains in Guinea, he immediately knew he had to go there and explore them. After traveling 3,000 kilometers south through the desert without barely any elevation, he can't believe he will finally see mountains again and the water tower of West Africa. I don't know if you are more the mountain or ocean kind of person, but you gotta admit there is something about mountains. The power, the heights, the silence of these massive yet elegant peaks. I don't know, there's something about it, and me watching the footage, I can only imagine the feeling Nico must have had hiking for 5 days along these mountains and waterfalls.
Wow! I'm sick.
Okay, wait, let's go back. How did we get here? Let's start at the beginning.
We are in Guinea. We just crossed the border. This is the border.
It's funny, our families in Germany can't wait for it to stop raining, and Nico and I haven't seen or felt rain for almost 4 months. This feeling of raindrops rolling down your skin, feeling as if you're finally able to breathe again.
Good morning. We arrived yesterday at our new couch surfing spot. Look at this view. Wow. It's amazing.
Nico and Fabi got to this couchsurfing spot to prepare for the 5-day hike and to recharge after traveling for what felt like forever through the streets of Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. The streets are getting worse and worse. It's the place from a German man. He built this house by himself and has been living in Guinea for over 20 years now.
Avocado. It's very, very cheap. We got 5 avocado for 50 cents and they are so delicious. Oh my god, I feel like I have never eaten an avocado before. What the fuck?
By the way, Nico thought a lot about the movie Blood Diamond. On his way to the host, he saw mines, and did you know Guinea was one of the countries in which part of the story plays?
I'm sick. It started 2 days ago and it got worse every day. I'm not sure yet what it is. If it's not gone tomorrow, I'm gonna go to the hospital. I got some fever. I already took a malaria pill. Let's see. I feel much better today. After another rest day tomorrow, I think I'm able to go for a really nice hike. I'm really excited.
The hike was supposed to start 4 days ago, but sickness got in the way. So now that Nico felt better and Marco, another traveler from Germany, joined the two of them, they continued with their preparations. Guinea has a lot more green than African countries before, so there are more varieties in fruit and veggies. The 3 of them have decided against a guide. Although there are no actual routes or paths or signs, but exploring on your own awakes the inner child, and the curiosity is bigger than the urge of safety. Let's see if the hike will end up like the one Nico and I did in Morocco. Let's hope not.
We just arrived at Angel.
Tomorrow they will start their hike from this town, and the water tower of West Africa will be the highlight at the end. Little did they know that each waterfall they are going to discover will be the highlight. Each and every single one of them. It's actually the first time Nico has seen an avocado tree. Did you know what they look like? Okay, we are finally ready for the hike. I know this is what you all have been waiting for. Let's explore. They have barely started the hike when they saw this beautiful, gigantic stone bridge. The nature's capabilities are astonishing. There's one thing about this hike which made it even more incredible than you might think. Nico, Fabi and Marco were the only ones on this track. No other tourists were hiking this path. No one but them at the waterfall, enjoying every single part of it, all by themselves. Where on this earth can you find a waterfall like this, which is not surrounded by tourists, where you can actually be alone in nature, jump into the water and be only surrounded by the voices of animals, plants, and the water splashing around you? Have you ever felt this sense of belonging to the nature, the sense of being alone yet never really alone? Have you ever seen nature without the sounds of your thoughts or people in the background? It is an amazing sound, the sound of the earth humming a song. A song that we silence by all our thoughts, our inventions, our occupation, our ideas, our lust for more and more and more. When does it stop? When will we sit down and listen?
Just saw some monkeys.
They could have never imagined observing two wild monkeys on their second day. Two different species, both threatened with extinction. Both spotted one after the other in the same area. It made them excited to explore more wildlife. They really wanted to see a snake, but were also scared of encountering one because most of them are very poisonous. Yet meeting a snake is very rare because they tend to hide and get out of the way when hearing something. Anyways, after a refreshing dip into the river, they continued their way on the path.
It's pretty hard to track the route. Can barely see it. And there are no signs, nothing. But it works. Quite good so far.
At least that's what they thought. Turns out they took the wrong turn and were lost in the African jungle. At some point they realized it was quite the detour with more difference in altitude, but they ended up back on the route they were planning to take.
This way. 2 cows. Wow. Bonjour.
Ça va?
Ça va? Ah, there's the path.
Ça va bien?
I know, lots of people say, go back to nature, go back to the simple things, strip down your material belongings, strip down your mental baggage, your physical baggage, reconnect. But what does it mean and how do we accomplish that?
Welcome to the jungle. Oh, there's a waterfall.
Just watching the footage from this adventure, in this hike made me calm down, made me grasp what's really important, made me forget about everything that surrounds me. Watching this jaw-dropping footage makes me reconnect. It lets me stop for a minute and slow down. It declutters the mind, it takes away the worries. Watching trees, waterfalls, animals in the wild from afar, hearing the sounds of leaves falling to the ground and birds chirping. This is what it means. This is what Nico felt when he was walking this path. This is what I felt watching this footage.
Wow, this looks like a ruin, but these are stones formed by nature. Crazy. Wow, this is the path. What the fuck?
During this climb, they heard the sounds of monkeys. It sounded like chimpanzees, and the people in the village told them that there are a lot of them around here and they often climb over the fences at night and steal their food. After a long day, they arrived at a village. The people were very friendly from the beginning. They asked them if they can put up their tents and hammocks on their property, and they immediately invited them in and offered beds. Nico, though, decided to sleep outside in his tent because of the overpowering heat and humidity. They were the main attraction in the village, and all the kids came by and they started their day playing football with all of them. Afterwards, they filled up their water at a water pump built by Saudi Arabia and harvested some mangoes. Let's see what kind of adventures the third day will uncover.
There.
After a while of exploring together, Nico decided to go look for another viewpoint and a spot to relax, and a spot that could possibly be a place to spend the night in nature, while the other two went to another small village to get some more food. It turned out to be one of Nico's favorite adventures on this trip, because he met these boys who led him to this incredible lookout point, and they showed him this fruit, an African star apple. Nico claims they taste exactly like a center shock. Do you remember these sweets, or rather sour treats, from childhood?
Wow. This is like a center shock.
After catching up with Fabi and Marco, they explained that they couldn't find another village and therefore no food. But let's see what they have to say about the fruit.
Ihr könnt schon ganz im Mund machen. Ah.
Bäh. Oh, brennt das. Alter.
Das ist wie ein Center Shock, oder?
It was already quite late and they haven't found a place to sleep yet. Luckily, they found another small village where they were invited for food and to sleep inside their houses again. The next morning, they started their journey quite early and passed another slightly bigger village to stock up their food supplies. On the way to the market, they were quite shocked to see this on the motorcycle. They asked the owner about his reasons to put it there. For lots of people here, Hitler is seen as good because during that time the French who colonized Guinea were conscripted back to Europe. Nico, Fabi and Marco tried to clarify the truth about him, but the language barrier made it very difficult. But yeah, history lessons aside, let's get to this beautiful but crowded market with lots of fresh veggies, peanuts, and of course some fried food. These markets can be quite overwhelming, but they are definitely full of life. Okay, let's see. The next few minutes will show a multitude of beautiful and surprising moments. Various breathtaking happenings. It started with the three of them leaving the village with the goal to get to an unknown waterfall. They have only seen a small marking on the map. Even the locals told them the waterfall doesn't exist. They chose to take on the adventure nonetheless. On the way, they saw this magnificent chameleon. The lunch spot was featured with some cows and a small waterfall, which was definitely not the one they were looking for yet.
Wherever you are in Africa, there's always a cow. Yeah, we tried to get somehow to the waterfall, but it's difficult to get down there. What the fuck? Who's following us? Yeah, I just turned around and I heard him.
Then the cows kept following them all the way up to the first elegant viewpoint, where they heard loud, fascinating monkey sounds. They assumed them to be chimpanzees. For now, they only heard them and couldn't see them yet. Of course, their new friend, the cow, was still with them.
They are chimpanzees. We couldn't see the chimpanzees yet, but they are going to sleep there, so maybe tomorrow morning, because we sleep here as well.
They chose this peak for tonight's sleeping spot, but still wandered around to find the waterfall. And then, finally, Nico followed the sounds of rushing water and caught sight of this.
This is at least 100 meters.
They could only find the waterfall from the top of the hill. There was no going down from this point. However, following the stream uphill, there was the perfect venue for an evening shower. Everyone who knows Nico can confirm this. He is one of the most curious people I have ever met. He likes to challenge himself. He claims he is always in control, and I do trust him. Despite that, Marco and Fabi got a glimpse of this scary behavior. He needed to see the cliff. Big thanks goes to Marco and Fabi, who only let him do this with some safety precautions. Let's set up tonight's sleeping arrangements. It will be Marco's first night in the real wilderness. He didn't sleep at all because when sleeping outside, you hear lots of things and your sense of hearing is heightened to any sound that is not immediately recognizable. Furthermore, in the back of his mind were the sounds of the monkeys, and chimpanzees are supposed to be very aggressive. Anyway, your mind goes wild at night in a tent or hammock. Nico and I have been sleeping outside a lot, which is why Nico just puts in some earplugs and falls asleep immediately. The chance of something actively attacking you is very low. Once you have realized most of it is just in your mind, you will accept and even enjoy the humming of the world at night.
I had a really good night. I can hear the chimpanzees. I hope we'll see them today.
The next morning, when Nico was sitting at the cliff, enjoying the sounds of monkeys and birds, he finally spotted them. All this time yesterday they were focused on the trees on top of this canyon, when the monkeys have always been right there before their eyes. They are not chimpanzees, nevertheless stunning and mind-blowing to spot them in the wilderness. After enjoying the monkeys for a while, they continued their trip. They had actually thought about quitting and going back because Marco and Fabi had found worms when they were in the toilet this morning, but they still hadn't seen the biggest and most famous waterfall in Guinea. And it was the last day, so they chose to continue their 5-day hike.
What the fuck is this? No way. No, this is impossible.
To continue the adventure was the best choice they could have made. I mean, look at this. They finally arrived at the top of the waterfall and it looks breathtaking. Nico said the feeling was out of this world and he couldn't wait to stand underneath it. But it was already getting pretty late, so they walked up this hill and got, in my opinion, the craziest view of this trip so far as their sleeping spot. They looked directly at the famous waterfall. Imagine standing here, taking it all in. Imagine going to bed with this picture in mind. Imagine waking up to this view. Okay, it was a bit foggy in the morning, which made it even more magical, don't you think? It's finally time to go down.
Wow. Wow.
We are almost at the end of a memorable adventure. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Fabi, for joining Nico. Thank you, Fabi, for these amazing close-ups. Check out his adventures in Africa. On the way back to the capital, some policemen took their passports and didn't give them back without some payment. Eventually, Fabi said he would call the embassy to clear this up because they didn't do anything wrong. The officers weren't scared of the embassy, but of the call. There was thunder and lightning, and there are these superstitions that you will die when you use your phone during a thunderstorm. They got so scared that they immediately gave back the passports. It's crazy sometimes what you experience on these trips. Comment and share if you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and seeing Nico and me back together on another continent. We both had barely any contact because Nico doesn't have a phone and Africa is not known for the best Wi-Fi. What do you think? Where will we go next? I did definitely not expect our following crusade.